Alright, so I made this game Grape Escape for the One Game a Month Jam back when that was still going on in 2017. It's basically a love letter to Super Meat Boy, and I made the soundtrack in Milky Tracker, and it's essentially just a knockoff chiptune remix of the Mission Impossible theme. And that's about all I care to show before this video gets removed from YouTube for copyright infringement. I wrote this game in vanilla JavaScript using Phaser version 2, and all the code is available on GitHub. You can poke around, mod it, make levels, I don't care, whatever. I'm gonna do a video soon here, breaking down that code and kind of code reviewing myself 7 years ago as well, and looking at my progress with my programming skills as well, so stay tuned for that. So that was back in 2017, so I've been playing guitar, making music, working on video games, stuff like that for the last 7 years, improving, hopefully, I think, quite a bit. So the Grape Escape has always been one of my favorite projects I've ever done, and I always sort of regretted how little effort I put into the soundtrack. But it was a game jam. One game a month, you get 1 month to make the game. It's the end of the month, I needed a soundtrack. So it's time for a do-over. I'm going to try to make a new soundtrack and sort of retrofit soundtrack onto the Grape Escape, sort of forgetting the Mission Impossible thing, blank slate. I'm using KORG Gadget on my Nintendo Switch, and I'll get into a little bit of how I made the track at the end of the video. So let's give it a listen. Enjoy. Let me know what you think. Man, I'm so stoked with how that turned out. I love the little plucky arpeggio thing, a little bit of kind of swing rhythm. It's kind of just a vamp, the chords don't really move around a lot, but I use a lot of different samples, a lot of different synths. I really love KORG Gadget. I mean, they just have so many different instruments and sounds to use. You kind of can't sound bad with it. It's pretty awesome. So I was really stoked. It was also really fun to make this entire game soundtrack on a video game console, like literally on a Nintendo Switch. So if you haven't checked out KORG Gadget, KORG, super recommend it. I've always got a soft spot in my heart for traditional trackers like Milky Tracker and stuff like that. I mean, I grew up on that stuff, but this is totally a valid way to make music too, and it sounds great. So I'm proud of it. I'm stoked on it. I'm by no means, a professional musician, and there's plenty of things that still sort of bother me about how this turned out. I think the mix is maybe a little bit too busy at some points, especially when you kind of factor in sound effects and things like that. I think in some of the spacier sections they'll cut through real nice, but we'll see. This is purely a hobby of mine, and I'm proud of it. From like a musicality perspective, leaps and bounds better than 7 years ago in that super basic little 3-instrument chiptune mix I did. So really pushed myself with playing with a lot of different sort of automations, like kind of fading in and out, different chorus effects, velocity, some filters on the pads. I kind of played around with automating some of the noise in and out, which I thought gave some of those like really spacey chords on the pads like a nice texture. So we'll see. I'd love to see this in a game. Maybe I'll kind of reuse this in a similar game project, game jam in the future. And it was just super rewarding to kind of put a facelift, so to speak, on the soundscape for this game. At one point I really was working on publishing Grape Escape. I designed like, I don't know, 80 levels, rewrote the game with a custom engine in C++ like I always do, but that project, like all my others, have fallen by the wayside. But here we are, still get to enjoy the 15 level version, which was super fun to make and still holds up and is really fun to play. So check it out on itch.io and Newgrounds if you're interested. It'd really help me out if you subscribed. Plan on making a bunch of videos like this in the future and about all the ways I'm getting creative with computers in my day job. I'm the CTO of a finance startup. I manage a team of developers. I've been working on some video game projects, things like that. I also recently published an app called Goated, which is for tracking your journey to 10,000 hours practicing a skill, like making music. You can sort of log your time spent making music or doing whatever it is you're trying to get better at every day, track your stats, things like that, hold yourself accountable. I'm stoked on it, and it would really help me out if you gave it a download. So thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.